Hello, everybody. This is Brick, and I wanted to try something different. I usually don't talk about NERF news, and any of the times that I would have, the news is already kind of past time by this point. I mean, it's still kind of active, still before something releases, but the discussion about it has already happened almost 2 weeks or so ago. So I'm just going to go through for this episode of This Week in NERF. It just came out. I wanted to talk about what it has to offer. I feel like I always have thoughts with the NERF news and Lego news and things like that, but don't really post about it as much, or only just talk with a couple people about it, just out of, it doesn't have to be necessarily all the content I make. I try to just, touch upon what I feel is most interesting to me and go from there. And sometimes I might just put it as like something else, like a tweet. It doesn't have to be a whole video or whatever. But this time around, I thought I'd do it as a video, just to try something different. So let's go right ahead and get this video going. Of course, the video is from Foamblast. Be sure to check her out and subscribe to her channel to get more NERF news about, well, you'll see the rest.
What's going on this week in NERF?
I love the little coop.
Welcome to This Week in NERF, your source for first-party, third-party, and community NERF news. I'm Adriana, and I hope that everybody is happy and healthy and ready to see the news for this week. There feels like there is a lot, so here we go. Last week we talked about how Foamfest UK was canceled, but it is coming back to life as an online event for the second time, which allows all of the community to get involved no matter where you live.
So online conventions have started popping up as a thing in 2020. This is something that I've noticed not just with the NERF hobby, but also with the Lego hobby. I'm sure plenty of other hobbies have adapted this in some way. I don't get it. I feel like I need to get involved with it to really understand it, because conceptually it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that you're sitting at your computer. I don't even know how you go between venues, between panels, unless it's a couple of hyperlinks or something. But even more than that you're paying for that exclusive access. It almost feels like, why couldn't I do the same thing through a live stream? That I'm already visiting some other program that's available on here. I don't know. That just might be a me thing. I know plenty of other people have been involved with it, panelists and whatever. I don't know how to get how it works.
Foamfest Live is a ton of fun. Last year was an absolute blast and brought some much needed community connection during that time. We talked about clubs and shops and modding, painting, designing, playing. Basically every aspect of the NERF hobby had some kind of representation at the online convention. And it was just as much fun to be in the chat as it was to be presenting a segment. And even better, it's such a giving event, and they're continuing to be a giving event. Last year, they raised over £5,000 for charity, hoping to do as much, if not more, this year. This year's charity is Papyrus, which supports young people who are struggling with suicide. So while I'm on that subject, if you're under 35 and in the UK and thinking of suicide, call the number that's in the description. That's the Hope Line UK, and they can help you find some support. And for more on Foamfest Live, follow the Foamfest UK Facebook page for updates on scheduling and how you can be involved with the event.
That is one thing I will commend. A lot of creators and events like this have been doing more charity work throughout the year, last year. If I haven't actually run anything myself, but I've been trying to at least donate to other ones. I've seen a few GoFundMe pages and supported them. So I'm glad that there is, again, that connection, that community to get involved with things, even if you can't actually meet with the people as often as before. So something like this, I think, is a great opportunity.
Raul Brass shared a super compact and collapsible cover design that looks pretty cool. It's made of thrifted bed sheets and a little bit of PVC and folding tent poles. The tent poles are the least accessible portion of the design, but I found them on AliExpress for just $10 in a really quick search. So that's not too bad. And PVC is super cheap, and sheets from Goodwill are a really clever solution instead of really expensive new fabric. And these things are so small when they're collapsed. I'm a little bit jealous. My bag of PVC for my club is freaking massive. And even the pop-up changing tents that a lot of people use take up more space than this does. This is a really cool design. He posted photos and the different materials that are needed and a little bit of his plans. So hopefully we can see some of those replicated in upcoming events later this year.
That is one thing I enjoy about the NERF community, even though I'm not as big a crafter as I'd like to be by this point, now 2 years, almost 3 years in. That is something I enjoy, is how you can take a concept that's already established, or even a type of blaster that's already established, and continue innovating and continue ways of making it less cost effective and getting good materials and everything like that. I mean, I don't think there's any one blaster that's ever done modding, and this is a great concept for a lot of NERF events. I don't know how many are going to be happening this year, worldwide even, but I've never made one of these covers before, but I have considered, like, oh, what if I will use something at home to practice around with? This is a good idea to make it without breaking the bank. So again, the more that we can reduce the cost but still get the effectiveness, or even better, the more benefits the community, the more benefits just about anybody getting involved with this. So that is a really cool project, and I hope that some of my local groups can actually follow up on that. I know some of them that have been using stuff for years, and those have worn and torn up a couple of times, either out of assembly or in high wind. So this is a good option.
We now have a look at the Dino Squad Rex Rampage Internals, thanks to Core Violet on Instagram. This really shows how easy the blaster is to disassemble. It actually has screws and pops open like a clamshell. I really like that it looks like you can remove the scope and replace it with something else pretty easily. I think that people will end up making a LiPo box out of that or something similar, since the battery tray seems to be slightly more difficult than a Raven if we were to do a battery replacement. It has a somewhat close to a Strife style pusher, semi-auto blaster obviously. The flywheel cage appears to be like the Elite 2.0 turbines, but it's half screwed in. At least there's no clips. And there will very likely be upgrade cages very soon from Buff Daddy. He's eagerly awaiting his own blaster so he can get started on that.
So while I don't have anything from the Dino Squad series, my personal take on it is it definitely looks cool. And as I just said, no blaster has ever done modding. You can always figure out something to increase the performance out of it. But for right now, the only one I'd be interested in would be the Stegosaurus one, because I like the Stegosaurus as a dinosaur in general. I mean, definitely the T-Rex Rampage, it is cool having a T-Rex styled Strife. I'm not a modder, or at least not heavily a modder yet, especially when it comes to electronics. So I wouldn't know on my own as to doing the wiring, the battery work. But it is good to see that there are, it is able to open and has, a way of getting through the internals. The Tricerablast, I think, is also something that people have been able to acquire, and they've gotten internal pictures and everything like that. It might just be the smallest one, the Stegosaurus, that is kind of like solvent welded or glued shut. Again, I'm not too heavily understanding that, but from other people's reviews, it seems okay so far. I'm glad that it's not throughout the entire line, that it treats itself more like Elite 2.0 or Alpha Strike as we've seen before.
The Spectrum is a really well-performing flywheeler from Dart Zone, but is also a very strange design. It's got a long, chonky barrel and a folding front grip, and just overall looks odd. But now that it's back in stock at Walmart, finally, Big Mac Daddy 73 made a huge kit of upgrades for the blaster. He's shortened the barrel and given it an end strike adapter, so if you please, you can put whatever front barrels you like on it, or just chop it off and leave off the big chunky thing on the front. He also has a selection of top rails. They can be compatible with NERF or Picatinny or Venture Force and just be a little bit longer. A really great option. And the bottom grip is also available in this pack in 2 different versions. There's a skinny one and a chunky one. And all of this is available for free to print on Thingiverse. So that's an awesome addition to this pretty cool blaster. Thanks for sharing that.
I know the Spectrum is incredible, and as many people said, the Strife Killer, it's one of the more definitive, out-of-the-box semi-auto blasters that we've seen in the hobby. I've never seen one in Walmart, and I've tried looking through multiple Walmarts. I've looked through BrickSeek, and I have not found a location that carries it yet. And I think it would be nice to try out, and I think I know 1 or 2 people that do have it. There was one of the other ones, I think the Sportsman, that I wanted to try out, whether or not I was going to, get my own, just to see what it's like. That is one thing I enjoy is, even if I'm not good at modding, even if I'm not, up on all these materials, I like the experience of trying different blasters, just to see how things feel, if they actually either more performance or more effective or more kind of like getting straight to the point, making things happen, or have a interesting gimmick to them. So it is cool. I'm glad that there's more available for mod kits and things like that. I do have some mod kits, but most of them are kind of drop-in sort of things or spring upgrade related. Like I have the regulator drop-in mod kit, something that is easier for me to understand getting into the hobby, that I don't have to worry about too many other materials or too much expertise right now on electronics and screws and other things to collect for making something happen. The fact that it's drop-in is really appealing to me. But this one, I don't know if it is, but it still looks cool with a couple changes.
Now it's time for Rapid Strikes.
I don't know what that means.
Thank you for coming.
So, on that note of Rapid Strikes, I don't know why. I've been seeing them for, I want to say, the past few months. They keep turning up at Walmart in box. I don't know if it's the one that has a clear mag or if it has an orange mag, but they keep turning up for $20. And I think every time I've seen it at Walmart, there's only one available. I don't know what it is. Maybe something about my area, but I do like, for one thing or another, that this is available at that price. I think normally it's $40 retail, and while it's not being as developed anymore, I'm sure that some of it is the fact that it's on the way out, that it's an older blaster, that they're just kind of dumping inventory. But that works for me, trying to get a full auto blaster for $20. And I've been able to pick up at least 1 or 2 of those before. I did want a Rapid Strike for a long time that was going to paint it up, to modify it a little bit internally and externally into something else. It would be more of a prop piece than something I would take to a war, because it might not be park friendly, let's put it that way, as far as colors go. But if I do go through with that, I think it'd be great, because I've looked at it for a long time. I thought, hey, this is a good platform for what I would like to make. It's just a matter of where can I use it, how can I use it, and working from there. But still, from I think from the Rapid Strike that I've already got used long before that, and I don't think I paid $20 for it. I think it was more than that. It's still a really neat blaster. I know it's one of those fundamental ones for the hobby. Like, it's still a lot of fun for a lot of people, even if we have all different things we've gone into. It's really cool looking.
The Alpha Strike Hammerstorm was released in yellow, but Drizzle spotted a blue version at Target. It's still probably one of the most visually interesting blasters in the budget Alpha Strike line. Caliber maker Captain...
Oh, whoa, that was fast. I guess that's what she means by Rapid Strike. So, a blue Hammerstorm available at Target, possibly exclusively. I don't... See, here's the thing you're going to understand as far as, like, I've been learning about the NERF hobby for a while. I've been studying and I've been looking through the wiki dozens of times. I like consistency because I don't have enough of it elsewhere. But why blue? I mean, I can understand if the uppercut is a different, color scheme. Alpha Strike as a line has been established as yellow, orange, black, with yellow being the primary color. Orange, because it's NERF, obviously, but black being kind of the secondary color. The uppercut was orange and blue, and it almost looked like an azure, like a lighter blue. Then you have the Hammerstorm now in another blue. And let me look at the picture again. That orange looks a bit deeper. Almost like a red, actually, according to this photo. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. Also, I noticed that the hammer action, the actual device on it, on the top, black. I'm going to be nitpicky about colors and other stupid things, but go ahead. Why is this in black? That would be... I mean, it looks cool, but from the box, I almost didn't know it was here. And I feel like that would be the kind of thing you would want to stand out more as a color, especially on a toy. If you want to have a function known, you can see that function. I know this because Lego does that all the time. And if they have a specific action, a certain function to something, especially if it's things that pop out, things that slide over, something a little less conventional than you would expect on a model, it would be typically in red. Not all the time. They have kind of weaned away from it in the previous years, or in the recent years. But red is still like, oh, I know it's an action feature. I know it's a thing I can play with. Power Miners, older Lego theme from 2009. Any of the functions were in orange, and I thought that was a great idea because, first of all, it lined up with the lime green that was like the main part of the Lego line, as well as having some black in there. It just made it as a good combination of colors, but also it pointed it in the right direction. Anything that was orange, or most of the things that were in orange on the Power Miners sets, were the ones that make a function. They were the ones that move. They were the ones that do something. So why this one is in black is beyond me, other than adding it into the color scheme somewhere. But why it's blue in the first place, why they recolored it for the Alpha Strike line, I don't quite understand. I mean, yes, you do have a lot in the normal Elite line that is recolored, but it's usually like an Amazon exclusive, like nowadays. You don't see it as much on shelves in the recolor. But this is Alpha Strike. This is on the shelves. This is blue. I guess their reasoning is, well, we're now making a lot of Elite blasters. We made a bunch of Elite 2.0, which we changed the color for those to make them stand out from the Elite line. So now the blue color is available. We could use that for other stuff. Or they just don't care. I don't know.
Bug announced lead times will shrink in February. The reason why is best described in this Discord post from the man himself. Friendship with day job ended. NERF is my new best friend. Going full-time is a huge step, and we wish him nothing but good luck and continued success.
So while I don't know much about his work, I do know he's well known for the community. I do wish him the best on having it as a full-time job. I know that's not an easy thing for a lot of people to establish themselves, you know, to make a full business out of something. But given his notoriety in the community, given how much people look up to him or use stuff from him, I'm sure he's going to do just fine.
Last week, I guessed that the Fortnite Pump Sg was a front-loaded blaster, but I was wrong. An overview from NERF Taiwan shows it is breech-loaded. A little odd that the door doesn't automatically retract when you prime back, but at least now we know.
Well, yeah, I was kind of interested about the Pump Sg. Just, you know, it looks really nice. It's got a nice aesthetic to it. Again, very bold blue and almost red color scheme. Breech loading, though. Like, breech loading on top, I don't know if I feel like that's better than breech loading on the side. Because in either case, unless you make the hatch long enough to actually fit the dart in there, like in a Magnus or the Ultra 5, you're going to bend the dart. As even in that short clip.
A little odd that the door is wrong.
Let me bring it back.
An overview from NERF Taiwan.
Yeah, right there. So, I mean, you're kind of putting it in at an angle and more likely to bend it.
Breech loaded. A little odd that the door doesn't automatically retract when you prime back, but at least now we know.
It does seem like a cost-cutting measure that they wouldn't make the door close with the pump, but I don't know. I'm not too concerned about it. I just hope there isn't any safety issues with it. There's a few things like that with NERF lately that I've been like, really? They're going to do that? They're not going to add a safety mechanism in there?
Foam Pro Shop has a very high-end holster for the Dart Zone MK2. $170, and you could own a holster that's handmade in the United States by Warlander Enterprises, made from real leather. They're serialized and available in left or right-handed configurations. And while we're talking about these...
Oh, I don't know if I should just pause here to reflect on that. It's cool. I don't have a Dart Zone Mark... I forget what the name is now. Oh, I know I don't have it. I don't have that blaster. I think it would be a cool one to have. I do think it does lean a little bit heavy on the looks like a real steel side of it. I mean, yes, it's still in red, but it's... I don't know. I think it'll look good, but I just have to use it very carefully in public. And the holster does look nice, but the holster price, I mean, the blaster usually goes for $80. So the asking price in the holster, it just is what it is, I guess, as they say. Kind of hard for me to give an opinion about an accessory on a blaster that I don't currently have, and I don't know when I would get it.
These works. If you like knives and leather, check out Warlander's website. She makes really beautiful products. A listing is on Walmart for the NERF Ultra Screen Machine. That is a crazy name, and I hope the blaster will be cool enough to back it up. Whatever it is, it'll be $35. I'm hoping that's at least something high capacity to just really fling the screamer darts. That'd be fun. And that's
okay. So here I go, nitpick again. And I've actually wanted to do a video about this numerous times. I still haven't either recorded the video or trimmed it down. But the long and short of it is NERF, Hasbro, does not care for conventions. They don't care for naming conventions. They don't care for number conventions. They don't, I mean, we're already seeing they don't care for color conventions. And that, I think, doesn't make any sense to me. They are heavy on marketing. They are well aware that, you know, these are for kids, and they're going to continue advertising to kids and parents for those things. But there are so many times and so many waves and so many themes of Nerf blasters where they go in hard. They have a set, you know, premise, and then just throw that out the window. For the Ultra line, we saw the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have the Dorado coming out. We have the Pharaoh that's already out. We have the Amp. We have now, what is it? The Scream Machine? Yeah. The last time I ever saw Scream Machine as a name, it was for a ride at Six Flags. Notice in all of those names what you can actually group together and compartmentalize it without the word Ultra in front of it. Yes, it's dumb that Ultra started with having the blasters with a number as the name of it, as opposed to something like, let's bring up the Rapid Strike again. Rapid Strike CS18, the full name. But, you know, there are parts of that make sense, but yeah, it doesn't make as much sense to have the whole blaster named as one number. Because nobody is going to say, hey, can you pick up the 1 for me? Can you pick up the 5 for me? If you're talking with someone else about the blaster, I think most people, from what I've heard, say the Ultra 1, the Ultra 5. But even if they were going to stick to that dumb naming convention, stick to that dumb naming convention. Because they changed it up, where they have the Dorado and the Pharaoh. I'm probably missing 1 or 2 of them. Let me check the wiki. I feel like there was another one that had a similar category like that. But those kind of made sense in that line of them. It's like, okay, I guess we're sticking to some, have like this, I don't know what the word for it is, but it feels like they go together. Dorado, Pharaoh, something about that sounds like they work, but it's still off from the number scheme that we've seen. And sure, the Dorado is essentially the 2, but with more plastic on it. I don't know internally how it is. I don't even know if anybody's had a review copy of it. The Pharaoh, it's a sniper. I don't see why it had to be done that way. And I believe those 2, again, have their own convention to them, that they have gold a little more prominently on the blaster, that they have the gold Ultra darts. So, okay, fine. I'm reading through the wiki right now. It came out in 2020, apparently. I haven't seen it stateside yet. Not available in the United States. Oh, okay. Semi-auto flywheel system. They use the rotating similar to the Barricade. Similar to the 2, however, it features an integrated shoulder stock as well as a top carry handle. 3 strap points. Advertises firing 120 like every other Ultra Blaster. Okay, so it sounds like it's pretty much the 2 with a little more style to it. And I'm not saying you should name it the 2.5 or anything like that. Name it the 2.0, like the Elite 2.0. But I don't know about that naming convention, where that came from, where it's supposed to go. And like I said, the Amp is now available. I've seen it in Target in person. And Amp, where did that come from? Even the side of the blaster and a little bit of paintwork that kind of separates it from the Ultra line convention. They have a little more bold paint that's used for actually the Ultra logo and the word amp on the side of it, as opposed to most of these blasters when they have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just orange paint in the Arabic number. It's not even spelling out the word. I think maybe the one, maybe a few of these actually do have it written on the side as well. The Ultra 1, yeah, that has it on the side of it written out. And then most of the other blasters don't. All I'm asking is for some consistency. That's all. I don't mind about a couple other things on the blasters I could definitely nitpick about, but some dang consistency would be great. And the fact that they now have one called the Scream Machine doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What does that apply to? What is that supposed to represent? Even if NERF, I don't know if NERF really cares or if Hasbro really cares for leaks and news that community, strives for. I don't know if this is their way of hiding it a bit further until product launch. But even so, it doesn't line up with anything that they've already been doing. And I believe me, the naming convention extends to plenty of other lines that I've thought, what are you doing? Rival is one that I really enjoyed the mythological name convention for a long time. And there's still plenty of them they haven't used, and yet they go to things like the takedown, the knockout, and some of them, again, almost have like a subcategory that kind of makes sense, but doesn't follow everything else. And then you have the Edge series, which is definitively stating it's separate from the other rival blasters that do fit the old line of the Mercury, the Saturn, the Jupiter. Okay, where is it going? Where is it supposed to be going? Like if you had the names like Takedown and Knockout in the Edge series, which is supposed to be separate from the rest of the mainline blasters, that would make sense. I swear I'm probably just going to make the entire video like that right now. But yeah, Ultra Scream Machine, it makes much less sense. It doesn't give a good feel for what this blaster is supposed to be like until obviously we see it. The $35 price seems fair, but we don't know what that is going to be. If there's something from Ultra that I think should exist compared to what we have right now, I'm going to take a look through. We have semi-auto blasters. We have I don't think we have a Springer that fires with slam fire, not that I know of. But we have a bunch of flywheels in different styles of flywheels. Now, and to that credit, there are good ones in there, or at least not entirely, copy paste. You have the one, yeah, it's not the best, but it at least does something that not many other flywheels do, and from the Ultra line flywheels do, where it's a rotating drum. You have the Dorado and the 2, which are rear-loaded revolvers that are flywheel. That's cool. That's good. That stands out more. You have the Amp, which is a more traditional Strife-like semi-auto blaster, which is fine. Every NERF line, whenever they produce it, no matter what ammo type it is, or even if it's a different color scheme or, sculpting design work, has to have a few fundamental things. So that way people can adapt to it if they like the aesthetic. You have the 3, which is pump action. That's, I think, the only pump action in the line so far. You have the Pharaoh, which is the only bolt action so far in the line. You have the 4, which is your traditional ring prime or like a, what's it called? Yeah, let's just go with a ring prime in the back of it, single shot blaster. You have the 5, which is your Magnus, basically, which is also, top primed. I don't mind if they make another blaster that follows any of these conventions. So far, every one of these has a different thing that stands out. They have either, if it's spring or flywheel, how it's primed, or how the capacity is held. I don't think they would go to a hopper blaster, at least not this soon. I don't think they would have a slam fire blaster, given the larger size of the darts themselves. I want to check, because that's one thing I've kind of wondered for a while. If Ultra is meant to replace Mega as a line, that first of all to make Ultra look good, and second to phase out Mega. That it's like, okay, we've done enough with these. We don't have any more to really, to muster up with it. I mean, the Motor Strike should have been better last year as a Strife Mega Blaster. But I'm going to look right now through the Mega line and see what actually could work with that. Category, Slamfire Blasters. The first one that comes to my mind, although I don't know the practicality of it, would be, what if they made the rough cut for Ultra? So you have a pump action blaster that can fire 2 at a time. That might be a good one. That's one they haven't touched upon yet that I think people would be interested in. Although the Warden kind of put some of those worries back into play, because that would be, problematic. I'm looking right now through the Mega Blasters that they have and seeing if they would do something like that in Ultra. They have the Roto Fury, which would be like a pump action version of the Ultra One, and if given the right materials and rotation, probably could be Slamfire. Let's see. Do not make an Ultra Ruckus. I mean, the regular Ruckus was already terrible. I know from firsthand experience. And I was like, are you kidding me? That you're demonstrating this as a toy? You expect kids to do better with this than I can? This was rough. It was indeed a Ruckus. It was the most ill-fitting name for a Nerf blaster. Maybe a Twin Shock? Maybe like that would be again with the rough cut idea for an Ultra Blaster. Like, I'm trying to think. It seems like every one of the Ultra Blasters from what we've went through is trying to do something different. He's trying something that's not copying itself completely. I mean, the Dorado, I think, is the only exception so far. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know right now between them. Things like the Flip Fury and the what's it called? Demolisher? No, not Demolisher. The Doominator, that's the one. Those were fun gimmicks, but I doubt that they would be put into an Ultra line because it would be a lot bigger, heavier, and probably not move as smoothly. That's why I wasn't trying to look into a lot of the Ultra Blasters, or a lot into the Elite Blasters for what they could do in Ultra, because that takes a lot more engineering to make that happen. For what I understand about how these things move. There's also the TS that they show in here as another Mega Blaster with Slamfire. I don't think they would really need that. I don't think they would really need to do that, since I already have the 3 as a pump action internal mag blaster. Okay, yeah, pretty much covered it. So it would basically be the Roto Fury, the Twin Shock, Or what was the other one? I don't remember. You already heard it. Just remind me in the comments or something. But yeah, one of those, like the Roto Fury or the Twin Shock. I'm not going to say the Rough Cut. I think I said the Rough Cut before, but the Twin Shock is basically a mega Rough Cut. But that's what I would imagine for going forward with the Ultra line, doing something different. If something did have Slamfire, that'd be great. I know I was basically looking through just a Slamfire list. If I went through the Mega list, we'd be here a little bit longer. There are plenty in the Mega list that I would not want to see as a blaster because it didn't work well for Mega. So why would it be any better for Ultra? Oops, I looked at the wrong Mega Dart on the wiki. There we go, N-Strike Mega. The one that isn't discontinued. As a brief look through there, I don't think they're going to do a bow. An Ultra Jolt would be cool. I think an Ultra Jolt would be ineffective, but the way they've done Jolts, they now have a Hamp Jolt from Alpha Strike. Why not? Why not? You take something like a Big Shock, make it equip for Ultra, sure. Cyclone Shock. The Cyclone Shock is definitely a staple of Mega Blasters. One of the finest that they've made. That could work in Ultra. That's also a possibility. Hot Shock, they basically have that. A couple of these I feel will be too big or too bulky. Like the Mastodon and Megalodon, as cool as the Mastodon is conceptually, and as fun as the Megalodon is from my personal experience, I don't know if they would do something like that for a while until, for an Ultra Blaster. I don't think they would do the Double Breach, but then again, we did already have a Mega Shotgun from Fortnite, that we talked about before, the Pump Sg, that's single firing. So maybe? I'm trying to not put a bad name to Hasbro. I'm trying to think like if I was working there and I had to develop a new blaster with similar conventions to something before, but for a new line, what would I do? What would I actually make that would actually be appealing, that would actually stand out from other blasters in the line and be appealing to people looking forward to it, I mean, Dino Squad is very early on, but again, they're still covering their bases. They have a Strife, they have a Fire Strike, and they have a little something different. They have something Hammer Prime, Hammer Prime is almost a staple at this point, but not in every line. I doubt they would make a Hammer Primed Ultra Blaster, but it would be great if they did. I mean, again, the Dorado is probably the most surprising thing out of the line and the most innovative that they've done. So it would be great if it did happen, but I don't know what the Scream Machine will bring. Hopefully it brings something that's kind of like those things together.
At least something high capacity to just really fling the Screamer darts. That'd be fun. Dart Zone filed a new trademark application this week, Dart Zone Max. Of course, everything other than the name itself is rampant speculation, but I think it sounds like a new line. Possibly something similar to Mega. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's too early to do anything about it, and much like Adriana said, speculation can run any which way because it's so, it's so new and so non-descriptive. Max doesn't necessarily offer anything that could lean one way or the other. I would personally think that Max could be similar to a Mega line. Maybe a short dart Mega line would be neat. I actually do wonder, like, for anybody who does use Mega Blasters, is there any merit to making short darts for Mega Blasters? The way that people have made short darts for, your standard 50 cals, your standard elite type blasters. Could short dart megas work? I might have to look this up after the video. Actually, I'll look it up right now. NERF short mega darts. I'm terrible at spelling because that is not what I typed. It autocorrected some of it because I was so indifferent from what I was going for. Okay, so somebody shot a short dart into a mega dart. Nope, that's not what I was looking for. I don't know the practicality of it. I feel like the physics behind it is something that people wouldn't look into, because you have a bigger head dart and therefore need a bigger body to kind of balance it as it's going through the air. I could be wrong. I might hit up a Discord or two and ask, hey, does anybody know if a short dart or if a short mega dart blaster exists? Is it practical? What's that about? Because I would say that that's one thing that Dart Zone. I get onto this because if it is a mega line, that would be considered. That could be an improvement on the mega line, because mega darts are mega. They're big. They take up a lot of space, and if you have a game type that uses them, might as well have one that's half length or shorter, that won't be as cumbersome to bring around.
We have a couple of new nuggets about the mysterious Hyper line. This Amazon listing for Hyper 200 round refill shows a price of £27. After conversion calculations, that is 18 cents per round, and that seems a little expensive for an ammo type that is, quote, designed for speed and capacity. There are still no specifics on what the innovative design and material are, but it is now 100% confirmed to be used in Hyper Blaster hoppers. Hopefully, we learn more in February when Toy Fair would normally take place.
Hyper is definitely an interesting thing for NERF, and I don't know what to make of that. I honestly don't know. I mean, I have seen a couple listings before of different Hyper names. I don't. Let me see if I can bring those up in some of the previous videos or so. Let's see here. That's a little further back in the list than I thought it was. Nope, not that far back. A little more. There we go. So, the ones that I recall and have written down here: NERF Hyper Rush 40 for $30. NERF Hyper Siege 50 for $40. NERF Hyper Mach MACH 100 for $70. And then the NERF Hyper Refill Canister, $100. I'm going to actually post them now into the chat, so anyone that's watching this afterward can catch up on that. It sounds like there's a naming convention there. There's obviously a number convention of the 40, 50, 100. But we don't know anything else than that. We don't know what these blasters will look like, what they'll feel like. And I'm going to actually play this clip again just to be sure about the... It says that they use Hyper rounds. There's a 200 pack. Rounds to keep you stocked up and ready to refill NERF Hyper blasters so you can keep on competing in NERF Hyper battles. Designed for speed and capacity, NERF Hyper rounds maximize speed and capacity with their innovative design and material. Fast, easy loading. They're easy to load into NERF Hyper Blaster hoppers. Open the hopper lids and pour in the rounds, and you're back to battling fast blasters, each sold separately. That's leading to believe that they can be hopper fed. Okay. I didn't finish writing the rest of these down. $9.99. NERF Hyper refill canister 100 for $20. I think she said it would be 18 per round. If I look back, yeah. So even the refill 100 canister gets that across as well. The 100 for $20. I feel my speculation from Hyper is that it's supposed to be like the ultra version of the rival line. Something that uses a very similar material, but is somehow improved or somehow, different style of it. I don't honestly know what's like. I love Rival. I love the Rival line. I love the efficiency, the capacity that Rival blasters have. I don't mind that they are more equipped for internal mags than box mags or stick mags. That's great. And some of them having hoppers, even better. I think Rival is definitely improved, and it's more effective out of the box. It's mileage may vary. I know that people have said that if you mod it to a point, it actually, like, there's a hill that it gets to, and then if you mod it too much, it gets over that as far as performance goes. But it's still, it's pretty neat. I still enjoy Rival Blasters. I'm still looking into other Rival Blasters to pick up. I've already been working on some videos on Rival Blasters. And the Hyper line kind of leads me in this direction as well. That there's something about it that's that could be useful. That could be exciting. I just don't know what. And if they're leaning towards, oh, you can put this in hoppers. Are all of these hopper-fed blasters or some of them? And which ones? Something that's $30 and holds 40 rounds and Rival equivalent? I don't know. They might be. I doubt that they would have them as a smaller ammo type because Rival rounds are pretty small as they are. And if you get them too small, then they're going to be a choking hazard, whether or not from the blaster muzzle itself or out of the box, like a bunch of Cheerios or something, or Fruit Loops or something, picked up and digested. I don't know. I doubt they would make the round bigger out of cost effectiveness and, again, the capacity. I could definitely see them being a little bit bigger because a lot of other ball blasters from other companies, even if they're, shorter companies or not, necessarily heavy into the game, like a NERF, like Dart Zone, like Buzzbee, any other ball blasters that you see out there that aren't Rival or X-Shot or anything like that are usually bigger rounds. Not by too much, maybe 1.5 times bigger than a Rival round. So I have no idea. Again, one of those things that still only so much is known, so speculation can go any which way, and there's no guarantee on any of it pointing the right direction. Except for understanding NERF conventions and patterns that they've had before.
Are, but it is now 100% confirmed to be used in Hyper Blaster hoppers. Hopefully, we learn more in February when Toy Fair would normally take place.
Yeah, that's another weird thing about Toy Fair not happening, or at least not happening as publicly. Because that's kind of the charm of it, that people get to go to a place to get all this information about what is coming up from all these different toy companies.
Good news for our friends in the Great White North. The Nexus Pro is now available in Canada. DJ Nobility showed off his new purchase in Alberta for $40 Canadian. And I guess the price makes up for the wait because that is cheaper than the US even after currency conversion. That's a little odd for Canada. But now we just have to cross our fingers and hope for a wider international release. Come on, Dart Zone. You can do it. I believe in you.
I've even seen in the United States, at least in my neck of the woods, the Nexus Pro and Aeon Pro are readily stocked in Walmarts. I mean, before it was kind of 3, maybe 5 in a given Walmart. Now I've seen a lot more of them, and I've seen them, over a period of time, even through the holidays, still available. Same thing with the darts, because the darts used to be scavenged quite a bit when they were on the market. Now it's fine. If you need them, you can get them. I already have a bunch of them. Again, trying to beat out some of the wave, and I'm okay with that.
The Dart Zone Pro half-length darts should also arrive in Canada within the first half of the year. Unfortunately, there's nothing more specific than that. And while we're talking about the Nexus, Dart Zone has listed several accessories on their website. There's a replacement stock for $13, sights for $10, but more importantly, if you prefer the Nexus Pro magazines over other options, they are finally available on their own for a reasonable price. It's a 3-pack of magazines for $30. A half-length adapter is also available for $10, and that fits the Nexus, the Aeon, the Mark 1, and the Mark 1.1.
So that is pretty good. I do like that's available. I personally, I'm okay with using it between Nexus and Aeon Pro with other blasters if necessary. I know that they would still need some modifications, especially for pushers and things, to work effectively for short darts. But if I needed to get other ones at whatever point, at least I know that I can do that without getting the whole blaster with it.
And now it's time for the mod of the week, and this week it goes to Adams Corporation for this M-Not 2100. This is a Hot Shock transformed into a rear-loading 3-dart inline clip. It's inspired by Hot Coin's rear-loading Jolt, and it looks pretty cool. The exposed sheet metal isn't a look that we see often, especially alongside 3D printed parts, but I feel like it actually really fits for some reason. I love the loading door has an actual hinge on it, and the spring-powered lock ensures it is not going to open accidentally. It's not often that I see a blaster that's simultaneously this well thought out and this random. It seems to perform pretty well, too. He claims to get the same ranges as the Mark II, which is pretty good. And it's fun to look at. Thanks so much for sharing it.
I do like the mod of the week parts of the videos, too. That's pretty interesting. And again, especially taking something that's so compact already and improving it is no easy feat, but people still take it on and they still make some really cool stuff out of it. So props to them for that. I doubt I would make something like that, but it's cool to see that those are available. Even after the knockout came out in Rival and people were equipping it for short darts or even full-length darts, like that they're equipping it for darts is just great, as opposed to using it for rival rounds, because they know by the plunger tube it's going to be more impactful if the ammo type is a bit smaller, or at least more standardized.
And that is all the news for this week. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, the links to everything that I talked about are down in the description, along with all of the YouTube things that I talk about every single week. Like button, subscribe button, comments, blah, 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 blah. You guys know how the internet works. I I should just trust that you know how the internet works, but metrics show that saying to do the things makes you do the things.
It's weird. It's a psychology or algorithm or metric or whatever the word is. I do that too on my YouTube channels. I never really, it's rare if I ever tell people to like, comment, and subscribe, share, whatever the wording is, the bell. It's rare if I use that. I haven't even worked it in that much when I'm finished with a video, like, you know, being used to saying it. Because I know people know how to use the internet, how they know how to use YouTube. They're going to do those things instinctively. I like this video and many other videos before people even say it, or if they don't say it at all. So I get it.
It's weird. Anyway, I hope everyone has a lovely day. I'll see you next week, Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on this channel that you have subscribed to because I told you to because of YouTube things. Yes. Yeah, that'll do.
I do love the ramble at the end.
Grammarly does more than catch errors.
Oh,
With Grammarly,
I got the,
you can find really good.
We got that. But yeah, that is still that is the fun part of the end. Is Adriana's ramble. Now it's time for the ramble of the week. It's all good. Oh, that felt shorter. I thought it went a little bit longer. Alrighty. So, yeah. As far as this week in NERF, you know, I love the series. It's really helpful information to catch up with everything. I only somewhat explore Reddit nowadays. I don't really post on there yet. I don't really, you know, seek it out for too much information. Usually it's because I found it somewhere else, like Facebook or in this video. And when it comes to, like, not that they're the only NERF news source, there are plenty of other ones that might even have stuff earlier or throughout the week or whatever the case may be. It's fine. I do like this as a weekly digest. As far as this week goes, as far as what's offered in here, it's okay. It's nothing that's going to majorly change how I'm playing or collecting blasters. It's fine for right now. Kind of has been for a couple of weeks, honestly, where it's like, okay, these are good to look out for or know a little bit about to talk with other fans, but it's nothing that I need to necessarily prepare for at the moment. So I can continue what I like doing and at my own pace and see where it takes me. I have been working on a whole bunch of videos. I've recorded a whole bunch, and then I just need to edit them, get them published, and hopefully you'll see them real soon. I have been thinking about a new convention on getting the videos out. I don't actually incorporate a lot of the like, comment, subscribe in there, if I remember correctly. Or if I have, you can tell that it's like, I don't really want to say this, but I know I have to. If you're here, I appreciate it. Nonetheless, I know that you know how this stuff works. And yeah, all right, we'll wrap it up for now. I'll catch up with things later. I have been hoping that I can get the community tab going for this channel. I have it on the main channel, Maniac for Bricks. Unfortunately, I don't have anything on the Maniac for Bricks more, from which I could set up a community tab and try to post a bit through there if, you know, I don't feel like it's worth a video, but still worth getting out to people or something like that. So that's all about a subscriber requirement and things like that. The same thing with doing live streams on here, at least doing mobile live streams on here would be a bit better than trying to do it through something like this, like StreamYard or how, if I can do it from my phone and be able to, set it up outside in the backyard, would be great. And as much as I'd like to do it through Twitch for some stuff and maybe talk about it through here, again, without the community tab, people aren't going to know unless I already make a video saying, hey, we're live on Twitch or blah, blah, blah. And Twitch has also been kind of a downer for me, especially using it mobilely. It doesn't really bring up as much as I thought it would. It keeps having errors. Like for months and months, it's been having errors. And I'm just waiting for them to fix it at this point. I'm not streaming on Twitch unless I'm using a program like this, or on the computer. I'm not going to use it with the phone unless I know that it's going to work. In the meanwhile, I'm in the process of building a Lego set for a video, so I'll catch you around and have yourselves a wonderful day.